What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we're talking about The Boys, Wisdom of the Ages. But before we get into all of that, Dave, Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
Well, Keith, I am fan-freaking-tastic. I really enjoyed this week's episode of The Boys. I really felt like it was back to form for them. There's some details I want to get into. I always start talking about it in my opening statement, and I don't need to do that. I should just wait until we're talking.
We
So,
always
I
wondered
had a
why you
good
did
week.
that.
Yeah. I had a good weekend. Well, I don't want to say yet. I don't want to jinx anything, but things are looking up. I'm getting close to my lifetime dream, so that's exciting. So, but I can't wait. There's a dog. I can't wait to to talk to these guys about this show because I got a lot to say. So, Doug, how are you doing?
Well, Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. You know what? I'm gonna follow your lead. I agree. I also liked The Boys. Haha, Keith. We're both talking about it. It was a good show. And there. So anyway, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. 26 out of 10. Okay, goodbye.
What you forgot the decimals.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not a real review.
Uh, you know what I didn't finish watching yet, though? House of the
House
Dragon.
of the Dragon.
Yep, did not get around to finish watching. I started and then, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm about to admit this. I fell asleep, not because it was boring, but because I was just tired. I forgot to turn it on at like around 9 when it dropped, and I think it was like 10:30 or so. I turned it on, and I was like, okay, let me just watch.
Hey, that's
Right.
You dare come into
No.
my home and you do this against the righteous usurper king in the north.
here's why.
Open my eyes at one point. Dragon.
There's a dragon. What did I miss?
So, Keith, sir, how are you?
Well, gentlemen, I am tremendous. Always excited to talk about The Boys, The Acolyte,
Aha. Aha.
but I'm not talking about the show. Aha! But I thought it was
No.
terrible.
Ah,
I think this is woke BS. I'm sick of it. I've had enough of it.
Oh my God.
I'm smelling lies. I'm smelling them.
Dave, you are absolutely right.
Absolutely. Sprite? Oh my God, it's been so long.
Oh man, we should do an old school Sprite stream one of these days.
We should. We should. We should reach out to our old contacts, see if they still want to sponsor us. We might be a little too expensive for them now, but we should at least give them a chance. We want. Maybe we're looking at Dr. Pepper now since they moved into the number 2 soda spot.
I heard about that. That's crazy. Knocked Pepsi out.
Well, Dr. Pepper is delicious. I mean, it's a vanilla drink, and they have so many flavors. Oh, it's just delicious.
You really can't go wrong. Cherry
Are you
Dr. Pepper
are you
is-
already sponsored by them?
No.
Are you cutting side deals, Dave?
Here's my check. Yes, they're awesome. They taste like cherry. They taste like vanilla.
Let me just take a
These are my
refreshing
own
drink
words.
of this Dr. Pepper. Oh my God. If only The Boys episode 4 of season 4 was as good as this drink. Dr. Pepper. Well, we seem to have a lot to say about it. Should we jump right in?
I think we should.
Well, let's talk about The Boys. Wisdom of the Ages.
Keith, Dave, you are never going to believe this.
Oh,
You know what I found out when I watched this episode?
That Homelander is the villain?
Did you know that?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I would say.
It's not like they've been setting it up this whole time.
I would say, what a twist.
I can't believe people didn't know that. I mean, did it really come out?
There
Come
has
on.
been so much chatter, and I don't know how truthful it is because so many people online are, either shit posting or they're idiots. So
Or
I don't
I
know.
have another theory about that
Okay, let's hear it.
because it's getting review bombed.
I
And
saw that, which is
the one
dumb.
thing we know about the boys, their social media is top notch. They do such a great
Hmm.
job. Like, they posted the firecracker tweet from the show. They actually tweeted it, and they had people responding to it and saying,
Oh
she's
Lord.
a good Christian. Like the Vought news channel responded. I mean,
Oh,
they do such a. I wouldn't be surprised if they made this all up themselves, just to get a laugh and just to get people talking about it. They have such a great
I
social media campaign. I would not put it past them because
shit. I
how
hadn't considered that.
how can these people not really know
You're not
Homelander's the villain?
wrong.
yeah. If they're watching the show, they know he's the villain. I mean,
You would hope, but then again,
There are, I'm sure, some of the people out there who might just be figuring it out. But I still think it's just their little campaign to do it. And they're just cracking up to themselves because people are talking about it. It's getting more press. I mean, the show's ratings are better than they've ever been. They were up like 21% for season 4. So if this is people review bombing it and trying to get people to boycott it because of its woke mind virus, they're doing a terrible job.
yeah. I mean, I thought this season they kind of stumbled out of the gate for me. It kind of got started slow, but this episode was back to the boys. It was everything I was used to with the boys, and I'm really happy about it. I mean, um, I don't know how to say this without being political. I just don't. Firecracker is modeled after a person whom I won't mention. How's that? And
okay.
we all know who it is. And if what happened on this show happened to her in real life, I don't think a lot of people would be upset about it. Um, getting hers right when she needed it. I mean, I don't advocate for violence, but she needs some comeuppance, and Firecracker got some on the show. She needs some in real life, but and there's so much more. I mean, I totally forgot about this. The abortion that she had. I completely forgot about that.
Can I just say one thing I liked about that whole scene where Butcher and them got the dirt on her and they were like, we're going to get you now. And she was totally ready for it. That is
Oh yeah, yeah.
completely Sister Sage thinking 2 steps ahead of them. Like, they're going to come after you. What's in your past? Well, it's this. Here's how we, you know, this is how we loot, not loot.
Yep.
What is the political phrase?
This
Uh,
is
boy, I don't know.
Oh my God, I forget what they call it. But when they turn, oh yeah, this happened. But listen, I'm just a Christian girl who made a mistake way back when with a man that I thought was my, everything. And I was like, oh wow, that was so well played. I really, enjoyed this episode from, and
Hmm.
I apologize, gentlemen. I wanted to do something for the stream, and I got a little too busy. We were getting door walls put in and work and all that, but I wanted to have a Fudgy the Whale delivered to both of your houses so we could enjoy Fudgy the Whale together during the stream. Because
oh, that would have been awesome.
when he walked in, he's
I,
like,
s- I saw that and I was like, oh no, okay.
I
Well,
would have felt like that was a threat, Keith.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you give somebody a Fudgy the Whale, you decide this is what you're gonna eat this ice cream monstrosity. And I don't know if you've ever heard the Patton Oswalt bit about it, but he's like they use the same thing, the Fudgy the Whale stencil. They use it for like 3 different cakes, and they just turn it a different direction and paint it different colors. He says, "That's Fudgy the Whale. Oh, but come on, St. Patrick's Day, and it's a happy leprechaun with a funny little hat." And
so I get what you're saying. We need to get the leprechaun cake for St. Patrick's Day. We- And I just want to say something before I forget, because I know I'm going to forget. I wanted to look it up today, and I completely forgot. If Anthony Starr does not win an Emmy for his portrayal of Homelander from season 4, Trump was right. The Emmys are crooked and rigged against him. Because, man, he
No,
is
cut
just
that part
been...
out of context, where Keith just says Trump is right.
That goes on our other channel, right?
I can see people taking that clip. Even not your status quo knows what's up.
Oh, Lord.
But, I agree a lot with Dave. I wasn't... First couple episodes, I thought episode 3 started getting into gear. And I think this episode definitely kept the ball rolling. I mean, Homelander was being Homelander, of course. He takes the go back to where it all begins to learn something the absolute wrong way.
Yeah.
Why don't you get in that oven? Why don't you just one get in that oven there? No thanks.
Get in that oven, or your whole family's in there with you.
Right. And he would have done it too.
Yeah, he would have. And there's 6 floors down. No one's going to discover her. She's going to die in that room. What was her name? Rebecca? She's going to die in that room because no one's going to go down there to get her out. Because all the phone lines are cut, all the power's cut. She's 6 floors down.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, he killed everybody else. I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead. He killed everybody else. Yeah. And he left her to stand there, smell it, and look at it. And no one's going to find her. So she's going to end up dying down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we got a couple comments on more spit, Marty, more spit. I feel bad for every guy named Marty watching that scene. Oh, yeah. I mean...
Yeah, that'll come up in every Marty's life.
I'm just happy it wasn't a Keith, because I already got ridiculed by Family Guy. So thank you, the boys, for making him Marty and not a Keith.
And they had to know once he did the first guy in that they were all going to die. They knew that.
But I don't think the boss lady is necessarily dead, because this is a Vought Institute. When all of that gets cut down, someone's going to be alerted. Hey, we no longer have, no longer getting information from the lab or doing this. Someone is going to know that something bad happened there. So she may get rescued. They may send a team out to see what happened. Or they may even know by this point. Yeah, we saw Homelander show up right before all the cameras and phones went dead. So send in a body bag team.
Right.
You can only live 2 weeks without any food or water. And so they'd have to find her within 2 weeks. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if she has enough time for them to find her.
Well, Vought knows where they're at. It didn't seem like a huge lab per se.
No, definitely not.
Because
we don't know what was on floors 1 through 5.
I kept thinking she knows something about Homelander that could stop him.
You think? That's why he did what he did?
And what?
That's why she was so calm. She was Stan Edgar calm. So they have to know something. Like there's a trigger word or something, but I guess they probably would have used it if it was a word. But there's got to be something. You're right.
And I think either, Butcher or Huey or Mother's Milk, someone's going to find her at some point, or she's going to reach out and say, listen, that virus you think is going to use isn't going to work against Homelander. It may stop a lot of the soups, but it ain't going to stop Homelander. Now, you may want to get... go ahead.
Did you like the Gen V reference in this show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all in a doorless room somewhere. Is it the basement of the college? We don't know, I guess.
Yeah, we assumed it was the basement of the college, but I don't think we know for sure. They could be right next door to that lady. They're going to save her on Gen V season 2.
The tunnel out or something.
Yeah. They could actually be on floor 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we don't know what are on those floors. But I mean, what this show does so well is... Oh, thank you, fellow nerd Doug, for re-upping your subscription. We definitely appreciate it. For those of you watching on YouTube, we're also on Twitch. We appreciate everybody. especially the ones that resubscribe for 24 months. That's amazing. We appreciate it. But getting back to this, I mean, this was Butcher being Butcher and a little different. We saw a new side of Annie when she basically lost her mind with, she basically got put in a really bad place, bringing her personal life up, making it, trying to work against her, which of course they're going to do that to her. But, I'm with Dave, man. When she went out there, I was like, oh, yeah, get her. Get her.
Heath, is the word you're thinking of spin?
Yes. Thank you. Spin. Yes. They knew exactly how to spin that when it came up.
And that's what Starlight was missing. That's what Starlight was missing. She didn't have somebody to kind of like think of the tactics to think, 3 steps ahead like what Sister Sage did. She didn't have anybody to figure out a way to spin it in her favor. Instead, she just had to sit there with her own emotions about the situation. And yeah, I mean, I can understand why she lost her temper. So, but again, this is exactly probably what Sister Sage wanted. She wanted this to happen. You can see that when she was watching it go down on TV.
First pebble down the mountain.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, they did it right across the street from the Starlight Foundation. This is the exact results they wanted, and they knew how to get it.
Do you think that in the end, that, because of there's so much spin everywhere, this will help Starlight in the end? People will go, yeah, if somebody had exposed my personal past like that, I would have done the same thing.
No, because she responded with violence, and she's not going to get a whole lot of people on her side for that, except for like maybe the people that were already backing her.
Well, and this is only going to make the situation between the two groups more volatile too. Because of course, the people on the 7 side are going to be like, yeah, she got an abortion. She's terrible. What a terrible human being. And the Starlighters are going to be like, hey, that's her personal thing. And it's just going to escalate and escalate, which is probably pebble number 2 for Sister Sage and, Homelander to them. They definitely want to get this riled up to extreme levels. And we only got like 4 episodes left. So it's going to be a very interesting last couple weeks.
Now, are they going to kind of a question, and maybe you can tell me if this is if you have a what's next for this, but do you think they're going to hold Starlight accountable? Do you think she's also going to have to go to trial like Homelander did?
I hadn't thought of that, but very likely yes.
That would be for just assault. She didn't actually kill anybody. So that would...
But it's still technically a crime, right?
Still a felony.
Yeah, it'd be like the Hunter Biden situation, right? When they got to get one from each side,
I think...
And again, I can see, Sister Sage, Homelander, especially using this to their advantage, and claiming how dare this vigilante, she's not a member of the 7, go out and use her powers. With great power comes great responsibility, or however.
Did you just make that up?
And Madam Web said.
And with great power, your responsibility gets more.
Increase. And when you have responsibility, you will gain power. And she misused the power and the responsibility of having it with gaining the power.
No, this could definitely be a side plot for the rest of the season, is, possible charges being brought up. Every camera saw it. I mean, that's filmed. It's almost an open and shut case, and see how they handle it. So, because, we got a few little sidebars going on. Obviously we have Homelander trying to, I don't know if his is over now, but, trying to get back to the basics. I don't know if we're going to see more of that. We have Huey and his dad. He did his mom give him Compound V? Is that how you guys took the
She did.
That's what it looked like.
She did. And you know what? I don't know if it's good for her or just like, whoa, you really shouldn't have done that. But let's see what happens with Huey's. Is Huey's dad comes out?
Was that the vial that Huey had?
I don't think it could have been.
Or did she have her own batch of it somehow?
Because she walked in the room and it seemed like he was waking up, like she had given it to him prior to Huey coming in the room. That's how I took the scene.
And she did have her own essential oils and stuff. Maybe she had her own compound V.
Mm.
Well, and she
She
did
did
say
work
she
for
worked
Vought.
for Vought. Yeah, Vought something or another. I forget what she said she worked for, but
I'm who was it you, Dave, that said that you didn't think she was actually there?
Nope, I didn't say that. You
Who
think
was
it's
it?
a figment of his imagination?
Yeah.
Has anybody else talked to her?
Not that I've seen.
I I don't think so.
Did the doctor talk to her when he said it was? No, he was just talking to Huey, wasn't he? So his mom is this alter ego, and he shot his dad up with Gen V, with Gen V.
Well, I'm trying to figure where else she would have gotten a vial of it from. That's why I asked. Was it the vial that he brought with him? Did he somehow leave it there? Or did she have her own vial somehow? Something just isn't adding up.
Well, he
I
still
thought
had
he
his
looked
vial on
through.
him, I think.
Oh, did he?
Okay.
Okay, I'll have to go back and watch.
Because
Right.
I think he put it back in his pocket. I don't think. Now, if that theory, whoever said that she's not really there, and he's kind of because he may be having issues too. Because
This
even though
could be because of his temp V.
yes,
Yes.
it's not as bad as Butcher's is at this point, but this could be the start of him doing that, and he may
Oh,
have
yeah.
given his dad the compound V, which we know from what Butcher said, it's not going to help.
No.
You can't take it when you're
And-
already sick and dying. And
Speaking of Butcher, how about wow, I forgot the guy's name, the preacher's name,
Ezekiel,
Ezekiel. How about what he did to him? We have no idea what he did to him. It was like a
It
Moon
looked like
Knight
a
moment.
head pop, right?
Yes. Is that? But he had that, the worm in his head, and it's, going through his back. Obviously, we saw all that. Is this whatever it is got a mind of its own and took over like Venom type of thing, and it took care of the threat?
Or
I was thinking
alternative theory.
I was thinking like Mr. Mind from the Shazam movie, the little worm.
Oh, I
That
did
can
not
mind
think that
control
that's
people.
possible too. They could have a version of that, yeah.
Some type of that's mind controlling him, taking over his body, and that's not necessarily, Butcher being in full control. This entity, we'll call it, is kind of moving him along because, I mean, he smacked his head off the freaking sink, and then kind of got up like we know.
Shower.
And speaking your theory with Huey and his mom, Butcher is seeing Becca. So it would make sense that some of the, deterioration you get from the Temp V is seeing people from your past. Wow, now I want to watch all these episodes again to see if anyone was talking to
Is
him.
talking to her. Yeah, that's interesting.
Because in this episode, Huey is talking to one of the lawyers at the Starlight place, and the guy is looking at Huey and answering Huey. His mother is standing next to him, but I don't recall that lawyer ever addressing her or saying anything to her.
I don't
That
either.
would be some good writing if they had wrote that in and
That
nobody
would
noticed
be outstanding writing.
that. Yeah, no one's talking to her. And by the way, I wonder if you guys have noticed when A Train runs, it has the A Train sound. I just noticed it on this episode. Has it always been that way?
Yeah, you just noticed that? Yeah, it's always been
Yeah,
that
I
way.
just noticed it. It was, and we're like, oh, hey, that's cool.
What's the noise
Yeah.
again?
It reminds me of Keith. Go ahead and get ready.
Ready for
It
what?
reminds me of the Rick and Morty episode where they've got that locomotive guy who summons the ghost trains, and every time he blows on his haunted train whistle.
Oh, the ghost train guy would have called a ghost train. That's
Right.
crazy.
Choo choo, motherfucker. How do you make that line sound badass?
But Butcher he got real with Mother's Milk. He put away all the sarcasm. He told him, "You're the best dad I know. I need you to raise Ryan, and if he doesn't want to go along, then you got to force him to go along." And he was real with him for a minute, and for some reason it looked like Becca didn't want him, because Becca's acting like he ain't gonna die in his flash. I don't call it flashback, but whatever that he's seeing, she's acting like he ain't gonna die. He is gonna die.
Well, considering
As
it's
far as
just
we know.
another aspect of himself,
Yeah, it's that part of Butcher that's like, no, I can still make it. I'm not gonna die. It looks bad, but I'm gonna pull through.
Is that, yeah, I was about to say, is that the stage of coping with death, where you get to denial or whatever? Oh, what if that was another twist and we didn't realize it? What if every time Becca appeared, it was him entering another stage of uh the different levels of death? Like,
The
what if
five.
each time it was like bargaining, if it was denial, if it was
Oh wow.
God, now I do have to go back and start. I need to go back and watch now too. I don't know if
Maybe
that's
it was
true,
written
but it
better
would be
than we thought.
interesting.
Maybe it was written better than we thought.
If they pulled that off, that would be impressive.
It would be. They're sitting there furiously like, shit, rewrites.
I don't know about you, but speaking of A-Train, I like the way he's coming around. I think I don't think he's going to be a full-fledged member, but he's definitely going to be a friend to the boys from here on out.
It definitely seems like I was
hope.
wrong last week saying he is more like Loki and he's only doing things for himself. It does seem like he is understanding that this is what he's got to do. He doesn't like these people. He doesn't like Huey. He doesn't like Butcher. But he sees that they're probably on the right side of things and he needs to help them. They're not going to be buddies going out for a beer after this, but he wants to be that hero that everyone always thought he was, instead of just, oh, here's your save for the day. This is your actor, John and Kate. They're going to be playing Fred and Wilma, and you're going to save them from this. He really wants to be it.
Especially since he was given a second chance at life, right? With the when he got that heart transplant from what is it, Blue Falcon?
No,
Is that
Blue
the name
the
of the
guy.
guy?
Yeah, the guy who he killed.
Or was it like Blue Eagle? I don't know.
It was
Blue
Blue
something.
Falcon is from like Scooby Doo.
Okay.
But I can't
I know
remember
what
his
you're
name
The
right now.
guy he dragged across the pavement.
Yeah. But this may also, not only the speech that his brother gave him, and the fact that he doesn't want his, he can't hang out with his own nephews, but like, I wonder if he's sitting there thinking, I've been given a new lease on life, and what am I doing with it? How am I'm sniveling before Homelander. I'm still not being a hero.
Yeah. He doesn't like the power that Homelander has on it.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
When everybody else cowers every time Homelander talks, like Deep, completely reverse whatever he's saying and say, hey, well, we just didn't see it from your point of view. A-Train doesn't do that. He just, if there's something like that happens, he just stays quiet. He doesn't contradict himself. So I think he's got a little more balls than Deep does.
By the way, BL 2024 just posted in our YouTube chat. Firecracker's name is Misty Tucker Gray.
No way.
Really?
That is
I
hilarious.
did not catch that.
I didn't
That
either.
that is even more on the nose than I thought.
Welcome to us breaking down the boys by figuring stuff out from our chat that we totally missed.
And if you want to join in and help us break down an episode,
please send us your
easily
Twitch and YouTube channels so we can learn a few things.
You know what? We love audience participation. More of that. That's how we all learn, man. That's awesome. Thank you,
Yeah.
BL 2020-24.
Welcome to Not Your Status Quo. We are hacks and frauds.
So we're going to be
Keith said
successful.
something a minute ago that I didn't agree with. He said he was wrong last week, and I just don't see it, Keith. You
We're
weren't
never wrong. We're 100% correct all the time, every time.
Thank you.
60% of the time, every time.
But it's nice when, you're surprised by things in a show. So many times you watch something and it's like, okay, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And it takes away, from the enjoyment of the show. Where The Boys does always seem, the more things stay the same, the more things change. And we're getting a lot of, we talked about some of the side, the Frenchie and that guy, finally basically admitting that he killed his family.
It was only a matter of time.
Yep. And, instead of this like Hallmark moment, the guy was pissed and, understandably. And he went off on Frenchie, and I was like, wow, they didn't drag that out too long. They did a good job with
Frenchie.
It wasn't
He
him.
didn't fight back.
Yeah. And it wasn't him like going, listen, I have something to tell you. I did this or whatever. Him just noticing the scars on his ankles. And that was the one thing that stood out from him on the guy that killed his family. I mean, they do a really good job of not just let lazy writing write the episodes. It seems like they do take their time to make sure, let's think how this is going to be resolved before we introduce it. And it really shows in the episodes. I mean, first and second episode did a lot of building up to stuff that we're going to see pay off, the rest of the season. So while they weren't my favorite episodes, I still see importance in them and why, why they're good. They're definitely not, 3s or 2s or, 4.75219s. They're still, quality episodes on the Doug
I like
scale.
when Firecracker sees, Butcher and you and them, and she's like, I remember you. Oh yeah, sorry about you, mate.
You're the one that killed my friend.
Right.
Dave's favorite scene with Splinter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lifted
Lord.
straight from Smallville, except for the penis part.
Where you want more love sausage in this season of The Boys?
Oh God,
No,
I
I'm
forgot
okay.
about love sausage.
I have gotten about all I need from that. Thank you.
Oh.
It was there. It was the big hit of that summer. Let it go.
The big hit of it.
And the other
Oh.
little subplot going on is Singer and Head Popper. That's starting to get a little more interesting too.
That was my theory. And I know it's a bit far-fetched, but what if Newman's head popping ability, what if she has gotten better? Because you remember her in Gen V, how she was explaining to what's her name, like, you've only just started to learn about your abilities. What if she can now kind of remotely pop heads? What if she doesn't necessarily need to be in the same room or the same vicinity?
That would be scary.
That
With her
would-
invulnerability.
Because
Yeah.
yes, well, because the reason why I'm wondering is I know that Butcher's powers from his Temp V was the laser vision and like invulnerability, basically like Diet Homelander. And I think he said that he took another vial just to try and see if it cured him, but
Did-
at no point did he ever have head popping abilities. So that makes me wonder what caused Ezekiel to explode like that.
Well, and remember, he took Temp V at first, and then his last dose was actual Compound V, trying to push off death. But I think we know what killed Ezekiel, and it's something that's living inside him, whether it's,
So we do know
symbiotic
for a
or-
fact that it was something Butcher did.
I guess we don't know for sure. They did a really good job
That's what
of
I'm
making
wondering.
us assume that. So that's a good point. It just seemed like the way it was working and coming out. You think
I
it
think-
might be Head Popper that did it?
Possibly. I know that's why I said I know it's a stretch. Go ahead, feel free to reel me in, Dave.
I'm
And
gonna,
Keith, you can
because-
borrow my brakes.
I'm gonna reel that in. Just because,
Because even
like,
I'm just like, because I don't know. Like until you pointed out the possibility that he had, like a sentient worm being in his brain, sort of like what is his name from Shazam?
Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind. Yeah, if they have the, boys universe version of Mr. Mind crawling around in his head, sure, I hadn't even considered that. And that would be probably more plausible than, I guess Newman coming to the rescue when she has no reason to.
but is that going to save Butcher's life?
No.
Because whatever's living
I don't
inside
know.
of him is going to need him to survive in order to live itself. Was it
Is
gonna
that
be
why
poured out-
you mentioned it might be symbiotic?
Yes, but
Yes.
I don't think it's I don't think Butcher is going to live beyond this show. I do think this has been a Homelander Butcher kind of story. There's a lot of other
You
main
think
characters.
he'll
But
live beyond this season?
yes, I think he
Okay.
won't die. We know that this show is ending in season 5, and I think that's when it's going to happen. This Mr. Mind thing or whatever it is living in him will keep him alive till then. And we don't know, much like, other symbiotes in other comic book things, it could change, it could jump to another character.
What if?
Did you guys see
Yeah,
the theory that? Did you guys see the theory that Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character is actually the most powerful?
Soup?
I don't know.
Soup?
Yes, soup. That's the word I was looking for.
No,
But
I
he's
didn't
tiny.
see that theory yet.
Yeah, and he's hardly been on the show, so I mean, you can't really say yes or no. We got to see more about him. But that would be interesting if he came out to be a very powerful soup. But I still don't think that would do any justice to the show to have him go up against Homelander.
Yeah, that
I was
would.
gonna say, I feel like if he would have used it by now.
What if his
Trying to be
power
sneaky.
is to put tiny worms in people and remote control them?
You never. That could be it.
Yeah.
Because him and Butcher are buddies. You never know.
And Butcher
That
may
is
have
very plausible.
Butcher may have accepted it.
Yeah.
Oh, is it like a Dracula thing? You got it requires permission to enter.
So yeah. So he doesn't get to live forever though.
Hey, Butcher, how would you like a worm in your brain? What? No. Come on, couple of little worms. Just
Will it
What
eat the
worms?
cancer?
It'll give
Oh,
you,
I love. Go ahead.
as I say, it'll give you a few more months to live. These little worms will crawl around in your brain, and who knows if you're being attacked by a Mr. Fantastic ripoff named Ezekiel, it may come out and save you by destroying this thing.
somehow with
okay.
explosion powers.
And I love the way Butcher talks. I love his jargon. I love the way he says things like ripe old English. And then when she said "Speak American," that really cracked me up.
Oh, I know. I literally know people that talk like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
like
Yeah.
Mary Tucker. What's her name? Mary Tucker Gray.
Misty Tucker Gray.
Misty Tucker. I should remember that's my ex-wife's name. Misty
Oh.
Tucker Gray.
Your ex-wife was named Misty Tucker Gray?
No, just Misty.
Oh, got it. Okay. That would have been weird.
you don't
That
think?
would have been really weird. I should have known.
I mean,
I don't think
I know
that's
the
Dave's
boys.
ex-wife.
You know the boys gets a little political, here and just a little bit, tiny bit.
What?
What show are you watching?
You don't think the whole
Homelander's the
Butcher
hero.
brainworm thing is a jab at what is it, RFK or whatever his name is?
Oh,
No.
man.
Kennedy guy who had the brainworms.
I actually don't. But if it turns out you're right, I'll buy you dinner.
I mean, like
No, you're
came
right. They
up, he was
do.
running for, he was trying to, I think he was originally trying to, or he said he was going to run against Biden. Then he was going to do a third party thing. Then it came out that he had brainworms, and he goes, well, maybe I shouldn't be president since part of my brain is missing.
He was going to get Aaron Rodgers to be his running mate.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
There are certain things he wasn't thinking about.
That's right.
all.
Well, he couldn't because a worm
He
ate
couldn't.
it.
See, the only
Yeah,
reason
that's
he
what-
got out of the race, Doug, is because the Democrats got to him. It was,
They put the worms in his brain.
Oh yeah, he was hanging out with Sister Sage because she likes to give herself a lobotomy.
Dude, that was rough to watch when she made the Deep do that to her. Oh God.
Well, before
Can't even
that,
think
she
about
did
it.
it to herself in the previous episode, but we didn't
Yeah.
see it. But it's like, is there something? All right, with Sister Sage, is there going to be some point where she does that? She does that to get high, so she can feel normal, not so intelligent, not so,
Yeah, so she can enjoy
gonna be-
watching. dumb shows and eat junk food.
Yeah. Is there a point where she does that and she gives up the game while she's dumb?
Oh, maybe
Possibly
that may be her downfall. She
because
gives
she's
herself a little frontal lobotomy, and then she's like, "Oh man, they don't even know it's coming. This is gonna happen. This is
Right.
gonna happen." And she says it in front of A Train, and then A Train.
What do you think?
I like that, Dave. That is excellent
that is
thought.
possible. But would she would she even remember her whatever her plans were, be able to speak about them intelligently until her brain healed?
Well, while she's watching Transformers 2, maybe something in that movie sparks, oh
That
yeah.
sparks a memory.
What in Transformers could spark any sort of
Could be a word that they say. One person says bought, and boom, she's like, oh, you know what? That reminds me. I got this whole thing going, and the whole world's watching, and I got a total control of you people.
I saw the first two of those movies in theaters.
I have never seen a Transformers live action movie.
Didn't you see Bumblebee?
You did.
No, I saw
We saw.
Bumblebee, but I don't consider
Doesn't count?
that's a spin-off. The ones that are titled Transformers.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't either. Even the ones with Mark Wahlberg, didn't see him.
Oh, you dodged a bullet with the Mark Wahlberg one.
Oh, yeah, I heard they're terrible. I mean, any Michael Bay movie, it's very sketchy to me. So that's why I didn't see the first one. I don't know how many of them are by him, but yeah, it's not high on my list.
Yeah, I can think of much better things to do than watch a Michael Bay movie.
You mean like rewatching Madam Web with me?
Giddy up. You got
No,
popcorn, right?
Re- Rebel Moon.
No.
I got popcorn ready. I got my Dune popcorn bucket.
I think now we're talking. I think I might watch a Michael Bay movie before I watch Rebel Moon again or the second one for the
Yeah.
first time.
I would watch a Michael Bay
Agreed.
marathon before watching those movies.
It would be
I agree.
shorter.
Yeah, yeah. And they would definitely be dumb enough where you can just like, maybe if we each gave ourselves a lobotomy before we watched them, like we could really enjoy them.
See, at least I think in a
I'm
Michael
sorry.
Bay movie,
You two give yourselves a lobotomy, I'll be fine.
like there might be things that I could find. Like it's still a bad movie, but there might be little pieces of it where I'm like, oh, that was entertaining, or maybe a chuckle, or maybe enjoying an action scene, enjoying an massive explosion on the screen that just looks right. I have no enjoyment from watching Rebel.
Boom, boom.
So yeah, I would definitely pick Michael Bay over Rebel Moon.
I don't like action without purpose. If it's just continuous action and then they just say, all right, we got to go over here and blow up some more stuff. That kind of stuff doesn't interest me.
I
And
get
that
that.
seems like that's what Michael Bay does.
It does seem like that. But I can honestly say I don't know if I've ever seen a Michael Bay movie.
The Rock.
Oh,
Never
yeah, I was
saw
about
The
to say, yeah.
Never saw The Rock. Wow.
I did.
Well, then I bet you haven't seen a Michael Bay movie because that would seem like the most normal one.
Did you see Pearl Harbor?
Nope.
I didn't
Hmm.
either.
It wasn't as Michael Bay-y as he gets. It was still terrible and historically inaccurate completely, but you know.
Well,
What about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Megan Fox?
I did see that.
Nope.
Michael Bay.
I didn't see it at the theater, but I saw it like on HBO or something back in the day. So I did see a Michael Bay movie.
In passing? Or did you sit down to watch it?
It was like on, and I watched it. I didn't like go, "Ooh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is on tonight."
Nobody
And, like,
nobody seeks
made
it out.
popcorn. Like, hey, get the Jiffy Pop out, guys.
No, Ninja Turtles it's one of those movies that it happens to be on, and you're like, well, okay.
All right, I ain't doing nothing else.
I got a few nostalgic chuckles out of the second one, just because they based it so heavily on the 80s cartoon, the 80s and 90s cartoon. And so I've just like a couple of times it's like, I remember that. Terrible movie,
Well,
but
jumping back
yeah.
to the boys for a minute.
Oh, we
Yeah,
should
have you
probably go back to
seen?
the boys completely for more than a minute. Oh boy, we just totally tangented.
And I didn't even move us to
I've
tangent
been
time.
watching. Well, now you can't because we're back. I've been watching some interviews with these guys,
Oh
the
yeah,
cast, and they're guessing what they know about each other and silly stuff like that. And you got Anthony Starr sitting there, and it's just like you do not know that he plays Homelander. You
he
cannot
looks
tell.
so different.
Yeah, he's so different
He's
looking.
got the darker hair, the facial hair,
He wears the glasses.
and he's got his British accent or Australian or whatever, wherever he's from. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's Keith's right. He is doing such a good job, and he's underrated. He's not being talked about in this way. He's like Robert Downey Jr. He was made for that character.
Hmm.
And I don't know if he's ever won one before, but man, he deserves one from this season. He has done an
Oh yeah,
exceptional job with, I mean, you believe this guy's actually crazy. Like, it's good to see him
he's
not acting and just be a normal dude, or otherwise I'd be like, don't hire Anthony Starr. He might
Got
be a little off his
something
rocker.
going on.
No
you
one
just
acts that good.
you see them do like they're filming like some test footage and it's just him talking to himself while walking in a dark tunnel. Ah, punches a wall.
Oh, that was a
Right.
brilliant script
Okay, so
read.
that was for the Return of Mary Poppins. And you were going to play the chimney sweep. Do you want to try that again?
See, he
Oh
does it,
yeah,
and then
give
they're
me
like,
like
that was a
a.
great read. Thank you. I was reading. You got the part. Who are these people?
And so, what do you think about Huey forgiving A Train, and the reason that he forgave him? That he didn't want to hate somebody the rest of his life. He wanted. He did it for. I did it for me. I didn't do it for A Train. What do you think of that?
I thought it was
I
great.
almost don't know if I still don't know that he forgave him, but I think he agreed to we're even now kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But not
Okay.
hating him is almost, I think that's a good way. Too many people live with hate. We've seen
Yeah.
it in the acolyte discourse that's going on now. And I thought it was, you're
What
going
a
to be a
waste of
better
time.
person if you let that go. You know what? You don't need hate in your life. You don't need to dwell on it.
Hmm.
Bad things happen when you do. Dwell on the positives. And I think that's what Huey's going to do. Unless, his
Okay.
mom is a figment of his imagination, then he's, going downhill a little bit already. So maybe too late, but maybe it's that, maybe the temp V makes those brain worms. And Huey's got a brain worm. He's got a little Mr. Mind going too. And it's all downhill from here.
I mean,
I
that's
have
interesting. It's
two.
like I don't see Huey being in the same room with Homelander without Homelander killing him, because Homelander won't want to kill Butcher because he wants him to suffer with that cancer in his brain.
Hmm.
But if you saw the same thing on Huey, I think he just laser him to death. I think he would kill him because he
I
doesn't
can see that.
respect Huey like he does Butcher.
No, I can see that. I don't think you're wrong. I just, he really wanted to go. He went after Huey that last episode when
Yeah.
he was at the, Vought on Ice or whatever. So, which I don't know how he could finally smell Huey. I mean, he was right above him and he didn't really, oh, that's Huey, until he got his
No,
sweat dripped
sweat.
on him.
Yeah.
You just think he's right there. He'd be able to smell him too, unless he wasn't really paying attention, I suppose. Or he was downwind. Who knows?
He was in conversation.
Well,
His attention was elsewhere.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I have two Huey dad theories.
Let's
All
hear
right.
him.
So first, I think in both cases, his dad will wake up, from the he didn't get the temp V, he got the actual
Compound V.
compound V. He got the actual compound V. So I think he will wake up and immediately kind of exhibit some sort. I think it's going to help him to a point, but I also wonder like how far gone he already was to like so how much it will actually help him. So theory number one, he wakes up kind of, but he's not aware and he dies instantly. And he has to deal with the fact that he's just essentially lost his father twice. Theory two, he not only wakes up, but he regains his consciousness and he becomes the only thing that's able to stop Homelander with whatever
Yeah,
power he develops.
and I think I like it, but I think they would do a disservice to the show if he was the one to stop Homeland. Because the way they've been building it up for four seasons is that it's him and Butcher, and
But
everybody
Dave,
else is collateral
he had
damage.
the best story.
Who who does? Huey's dad?
Dave, he had the best story.
Am I
I'm
missing
Game
something?
of Throning it.
Oh,
See,
well, I mean,
with the way the boys goes, he's probably going to regain consciousness, but be in complete misery until he does pass. So Huey is going to
well, he
feel
did.
even more guilty about what happened instead, because he was so upset. You
I
mean
can
he's
see
going
that
to
too, yeah.
starve to death over multiple days? That sounds horrible. And I think,
Yeah.
especially if his mom is real and used his compound V some way and gave it to the
Israel?
dad.
What do you mean Israel?
If she's not a figment of Huey's imagination.
Oh, I get it now. It's not a country. I got it.
No,
Okay,
not a
go
country. Not a country. No, sir.
ahead. But he did wake up at the end. He opened his eyes.
And they
Yeah.
glowed blue, right? Or did I imagine that?
No, I think they were blue.
Sounds about right.
Or I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
and
teal, I
that was
suppose, would be more appropriate.
Cyan?
before
I-
before we went on. I was talking to Keith about it, and I said the same thing. I said if Huey's dad has some sort of, the thing that can stop Homelander, I said the
Mhm.
same thing back then. It'd be cool, but at the same time, I don't think it would do the series justice. Just like Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming back and being the one to stop Homelander, or Stan Edgar stopping Homelander.
Mhm.
I think the only one who can do it is Butcher at this point.
Yeah, if Butcher
Hmm.
finds out how to do it through Stan Edgar like notes or Stan Edgar himself, yes, would make much more sense. But yeah, all of a sudden creating some new character with superpowers in season 4 to stop in season 5 just doesn't, seem
It'd
honestly.
be like adding a Scrappy Doo in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, I see
Oh,
it more
Done
along
with
the
season
lines
two?
of Ryan being the one who stops Homelander to save Butcher. I mean, it seems like the
Yeah, I
most
can see
logical
that.
ending.
And no, I don't think anyone's gonna say Butcher. He's definitely gonna die at the end of season
Yeah,
5.
I agree with that.
Well, by saving him, I
But maybe
mean
they'll
not being
stop him.
killed by Homelander.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I will be back in one moment, uno momento.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves.
Are you going to give us a
I'll give you a
topic?
topic: postmodernism.
Okay, well, I think what's best about postmodernism is you.
It's not post anything, and it's not modern. Go.
Whoa, you just blew my mind, dude. Yeah, I mean, overall, once again, I mean, this show is pretty much this and Invincible really do the best job with superhero shows, only because they defy convention. They do things that you're not expecting. Marvel and DC have been around so long. It's
Yeah.
like they almost are tied to a certain way of doing things. And while I enjoy them, like don't get me wrong, Infinity War, Endgame, and all that stuff, tremendous, stories,
Right.
and I enjoyed them. This just it always blows me away because I'm so used to reading Marvel and DC comics. They do things so differently in here. I'm always just overjoyed that they tricked me and something happened that I didn't see coming. So, like,
Yeah, The Boys, I would say, and Doom Patrol, the TV show, and Invincible, like you said, those are for the adults. Those are the superhero shows for the adults because they're graphic and they don't pull any punches. The other ones are made for the masses, for everyone at every age. Doesn't and you know they're all good. They're all doing their job. I can't say every episode of every show is doing their job, but overall, they're very entertaining.
Yeah. There's some are better than others, but you're right. A show made for adults that is rated R and graphic, it can be good, and PG-13 made for all audiences can also be really good. It doesn't have to be a certain way. Certain characters like the Punisher, they shouldn't, PG him up too much because it takes away from the
Right.
character. But characters like Iron Man, Spider-Man, and stuff, being PG makes a ton of sense, and it fits the character.
Yeah, you don't need a whole lot of blood and guts. You just know that they're powerful enough to kill people and rip them apart, but they don't because they just do what's needed because they have morals.
Yep.
See, these superheroes, they don't have morals. they do not care.
With a good
Yeah,
backstory for why they don't. I mean, I really think they did a good job of explaining why Homelander is the way he is, because he grew up in a lab with being experimented on, with no one really, loving him. When he got close to somebody, he ended up, killing them by, hugging them too. So that's all he wanted, was someone to love him, which is still how he is today. And he just can't find it. I mean, everyone would be maybe not as bad as Homelander, but I think anyone raised that way would be veering more towards Homelander than, being Captain America.
And he says he wants people there that aren't going to be sycophants, that are going to talk back to him. But then as soon as somebody talks back to him, he kills them. So he doesn't know. He wants love, but he doesn't know how to love.
The only
That's
one he
his big
listens
problem.
to is Sister Sage. And that's
So
not going to
far,
last
and-
forever.
Right.
And I
That-
think
and,
mostly it's because she called him out ahead of time. And
Yep.
she said, and he was like, no, I need you to join the seven. She's like, your ego couldn't handle me. No. And I don't
Right.
think anybody's ever, first, I don't think anybody's ever said no to him. But second, he doesn't want to be called out. When she said, you can't handle me being there because of your ego, he doesn't want to prove her right. His ego won't let him.
Yep. She trapped
Well,
him.
what was her name in the first season? Madeline? What was her name? Elizabeth Shue?
Oh, the CEO or whatever she was.
Yes.
Yeah, Madeline, was it? Oh my gosh, what was her?
Keith's looking it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
But
Yeah, what about her?
she could control them. She didn't.
Kind of to a point.
She did it in the
He-
I can't even say that word. Manipulative way that it didn't look like she was putting him in his place, but she did it. Was it
Madeline
I think it was
Stillwell.
because she figured out. What was
still
it?
well?
Still well. Oh, okay. I think it was because she figured out something that he wanted.
Milk,
Essentially, yeah.
which he
'Cause
obviously still
he
has
noticed
things
how
that
obsessed he
A-Train
was
still has.
with her.
That milk can't be good, by the way, that A-Train found. There's no way that milk is good.
No. Well, unless he's, going to a bunch of pregnant women and paying them for their milk.
You think you'd pay him?
Well, or threaten them, whatever. He's got to do something to keep it on the down low, though. I can't imagine that would be good for him, that kind of news getting out, that he's got like a bunch of, pregnant women locked away that he milks.
I don't.
So
Yeah, he
you
probably
left
has
him
someone
alone.
do it for him. Because I can't imagine him letting people know that he loves milk that much.
Buys it on the black market.
Yeah.
Now, if you
Hot
see
black
a
market.
crate come marked to Homelander, do not open it. Nobody open it. Do not look inside. If you do, I will laser your eyeballs out.
It's my Omaha steaks. Don't touch them. I'm grilling this weekend.
You know what? I was thinking about this too. The way when Homelander, when they were calling him John or whatever, and it's like, no, Homelander. The way they talked to him when they were doing their apologies, it was just, I know that there was nothing that they were going to say to save themselves.
Yeah, no.
But what they did say really didn't help their causes. They could have put it some other way. But at the same time, I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with the writing because I think it's if everything that we've been saying on this particular show tonight is right, and they were sprinkling that in, that's just genius. But as far as the dialogue goes in those scenes, I thought they could have done better. I thought they could have said some more things, but in the end, it really didn't matter because he
See,
was
to
going to
me,
kill him anyway.
it would have been out of character for them to be like standing up to this soup
No, not
and knowing.
standing up to.
But like trying to come up with excuses or a workaround or
Yes.
something. Yeah, I thought about that in the moment, but then I was like, like you, I was like, I don't think it would have mattered, and I think they realized that. May as
Yeah.
well just, come clean about it. Like, look, I was doing what I was told. It was a job. We didn't see you as a human. You were a product. What do you want
I'd be
us to
like,
say?
if we hadn't done that, you wouldn't be here now. You
Hmm.
know, something like that. But they couldn't say anything that was going to stop it. So I
Nothing.
guess
Yeah,
that
no. His plan was to give them a Fudgy the Whale and kill them all.
at least he fed him.
I
You
was gonna
know,
say, if someone's
Last,
gonna kill me and they bring me a Fudgy the Whale, I'm probably not as upset.
I guess not the worst last meal, right?
it's like this guy's all right. He brought me a Fuzzy the Whale, so it's okay. I'm gonna die, but
Keith, have another piece. The calories won't matter.
yeah.
Can I have
You're like,
three?
wait,
Now,
he's gonna kill you, and you go like, wait a minute, wait, can I have another piece first?
do you think they all realized like what was going to happen as soon as he showed up?
The
I
way they
don't
were
think
acting,
so.
I think so. Because they were so scared of him,
I
like they
think
know how he treats people. They've
They
seen it
also know
on
what
the
he's
news.
capable of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they didn't think all of them were gonna make it out, but
Hmm.
I didn't think they had any idea that he was gonna do all of them the way he did. The ones in the background who didn't say anything, just the staffers. I thought he might let them go, and I think they would have thought that too.
Especially if they weren't around when, John was there being tested. I didn't
Right.
Yeah, and I
expect him
can't
to,
imagine they all were because some of them did look kind of young.
I didn't expect him to kill them all to get back at the big boss lady.
Hmm.
That was it was very Homelandery. John would have never
It
done that.
was indeed.
Right, John wouldn't have done
Now, do you think that this has done it for him? He's now purged himself of what's left of his humanity, or do you think this is a never-ending journey?
that. Yeah, I think it's never ending.
Yeah, I don't think this has purged it. If something purges him of his humanity, it'll be in season 5 because it's got to be closer to the end. I think this is just him. He'll find out that this little exercise in
Hmm.
revenge or whatever you want to call it didn't really help him. He's not
Yeah,
going
it
to
didn't
feel any
change.
better after this. He's going to have to do something else again to try to figure it out.
Isn't that what that doctor said at the end there? And she said, didn't she say that, or was it another episode where they said, yeah, just you finished it. Does it feel any different? It doesn't, does it?
Well, she was even telling me, you same thing Stan Edgar said, when he left in that video you sent us where he's like, "You're going to regret this one day. It's all going to come piling on you, and you're not going to have to do it." And she was, the doctor I believe was saying, you just want to be loved, and it's not going to happen, and you're never going to be fulfilled. They know him because they've studied him for so long, and he's going to be so angry that they're right at some point when he finally figures out that they're right. That's when I think he loses control.
Yep. So I got a question
Any,
for the two of you.
oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was
And
in the understanding there'd be no questions tonight.
I'll take all questions at the end.
so this concerns the compound V. Now we know what it's doing to Butcher and what it's potentially doing to Huey, but would it have the same effect eventually on all the other soups? Like, are they all going to eventually, you know, get brain worms or lesions or, lose their damn minds? Because, like, we see with Homelander, like, he's talking to himself, he's seeing hallucinations in the mirror. I don't know if that's like a non-compound V related psychosis that he just already happened to have, or is that related to now that he's starting to get older, we see that he's, finding gray hairs. I'm wondering, is now the compound V, is it finally doing its thing, and it is, you know, slowly driving him to madness until he dies?
I always took
I don't
it.
know. Translucent any worms.
See, I always saw it as if you take it as an adult later in life, you're going to have more issues. Like getting it
Hmm.
as a teen or a young, a younger person, like your body's still growing and it adapts to it. Because we know it doesn't work for everybody. But if you get it when you're young and your body, adapts to it and you get the superpowers, you're probably going to be fine. Where, Butcher was taking Temp V and then took Compound V, and I think that
Mm-mm.
had a negative reaction in his body. And his body may have rejected it if he would have taken it when he was young too. I don't know if we'll ever
Hmm.
find that out, but I don't think they're all going to. Any soup who's made it this far is going to suffer that same fate. I think it's certain people, and just unfortunately is Butcher.
Yeah, I don't see that as a common end. Um, to, but how many of them have reached a ripe old age?
I think Stormfront is pretty much the only one.
And she was what, like 90 or something like that, 180 years old or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah, she never, obviously they hadn't thought of it yet, but that would be interesting. Well, isn't she still technically alive? Isn't she just like still
No,
suffering?
no, I thought she died.
No, she was still alive, I thought, in that
If she
hospital
was
room.
still alive and just burned to a crisp,
Hmm.
but she was still moving on the last scene she was in.
But don't hold me to that
Okay.
because
Beginning
I
of
also
season
thought
three.
Stan Edgar was dead.
Well, I'm pretty sure she is alive, just in like a Soldier Boy type of space where she's frozen, but she's not dead. She's cryogenically frozen.
Yeah, I thought we saw her still basically alive, and I was like, okay, she's probably coming back. We'll probably get Soldier Boy, Stormfront,
Black Noir.
2. What is my motivation for this scene? Would I,
Yeah. Did I talk to you? No.
it's funny because the the showrunner talked about why they didn't make Black Noir a clone of Homelander. He's like, I just thought this was better having like, a character that not be the surprise at the end that, oh, I can fight Homelander because I'm him, blah blah blah. So they made it as is, and I was kind of disappointed we didn't get any Black Noir 2 because I still think that his storyline is probably my favorite of this season, just because he's like, I just want to know my motivation. What's going on? What would Black Noir do? Just shut up. You're talking.
I
Still
love they're all
talking.
talking down to him.
Like, so they all know that he's a phony, but do they all know who's in the mat? Who's wearing his gear?
If they do, I don't think they care one way or the other.
Yeah, they probably don't give a crap who it actually is. They're like, we just need Black Noir for the publicity shots and his, weekly saves. Because the first one didn't even know karate. Did you guys know this?
Well, then I guess
It's
Black
just a
Noir was
name.
pretty old too, because he was around Soldier Boy day. He was before Soldier Boy, wasn't he?
No, I think he was younger than
Same
Soldier
batch.
Boy. He was like, I know he joined up with Soldier Boy during, what was it, Vietnam or something?
Yeah, or the
Yeah.
Korean War.
So yeah, it was one of those two. Yeah. But yeah, okay, so now you got, hmm. So what sort of youth effect does Compound V have? Like, how much longer do soups live? I know in the comics, all of them are all pretty old, like much older than they are in the show. I know, like a lot of them had all been around since World War II. And I think if I remember the comics right, like even Annie was significantly older.
I do believe that's
Hmm.
right. And I mean, it's probably like it's like the super soldier serum in Steve Rogers. You know, he's going to live a lot longer than a normal human because of that. So very, you know, compound V, as long as your body doesn't reject it when you're young, they may live to be a couple hundred years old. You know, Stormfront obviously was almost 100, I think, or a little over 100. She was still going pretty strong if she hadn't got, you know, girls do it better, ass whooping, or whatever she got.
Easy bake oven there.
That was a hell of a scene, though.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Well, anything else on this episode of The Boys, gentlemen? Any theories for later? Should we rate the episode? Where are you guys at? What are your thoughts?
I think we're probably about ready to rate it. I've pretty much expressed all of my theories. Dave, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I think I laid it out there for all to see, and yeah, I'm ready to rate it. She was 101, by the way. I just looked it up on Boys Wiki, and she's 101.
Oh, I just looked it up on stormfrontisright.com.
Okay. And what does that say?
Wow, I'm getting a lot of messages all of a sudden.
You need to start pounding your hand on the table. We will not lose. We will.
And there goes our demonetization.
It was no. Disney.
It was Disney. Curse you, Disney.
It's a Disney show. That's not fair.
Just because we don't have the woke mind virus, Disney, doesn't mean you got to demonetize us.
That's what's in Butcher's brain.
It is.
That's what it is. The woke mind worm.
Yeah. All right, David, would you like to go first?
I would. Well, for all the reasons listed before, and the upturn in the actual plot, and you know, if one of our theories are right, and they always are, about them, you know, I'll call it quiet writing. If they quiet wrote these plot twists into so that we'd have to go back and watch it in layers, that's genius. You know, if they did that. But this episode was definitely my favorite of the season. It's definitely coming back around. I'm going to give this one 8.5. What do you guys think?
You know,
I'm in the same boat as you, Dave. I really liked the previous two episodes. I liked them, but I agree with you. I think this one was even better. I mean, it just kind of continued on with the massacre that we saw with the Vaughn on Ice. It just kind of kept chewing along. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I now that we found out a few more tidbits, thank you to the chat, I think I enjoy it even more. And in a sort of cross-promotional thing of our other streams, I feel like this series is offering more of a mystery that I care about than The Acolyte is.
Kinda.
I'm like, because I'm having more fun theorizing about what is happening, what is going on with this, than I am about whether May and Osha are twins or not, or whatever. No, this has been fun. You're right. It is like totally full force boys. I am very sad to find out that Homelander was a bad guy. I didn't know that this entire time that I've been watching it. I mean, I've really just been rooting for him this whole time. But yeah, I agree with you. I got to give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's phenomenal. I hope they keep up this momentum, and I cannot wait for all of our theories to be proven 100% correct.
You know, this was absolutely agree with you, gentlemen, that this was the best episode of the season. And
Did you give it a rating, Doug?
He gave it an 8.5. He tied you. You know,
I'm sorry.
You know, it was such a great episode because we got, you know, certain plot threads kind of ending. They don't always, you know, pull this out all the time. We got Butcher's talk with MM, which, you know, I think Dave was talking about earlier in the thing, which was such a great moment. And, it, you know, knowing the characters for these 4 seasons, it made total sense. It was the right thing to do. We got Huey with his dad, and all of a sudden getting Compound V at the end. Which you're right. I'm more looking forward to see what happens with that than I am, the Smilo Ren's fight with the Jedi tomorrow. Now, it could be great, but
That'd be great.
we got Sister Sage kind of outsmarting Starlighter and all of the boys and really putting them in a tight squeeze, especially with Starlighter, the just total beatdown of Firecracker on live TV. I mean, that's going to come back and haunt them.
I know Sister Sage is evil. I know she's a bad guy, but I am so enthralled watching her moves.
I love it. This is, what they're doing with her is what I hope Lex Luthor is going to be like in the Superman reboot, that's coming out next year by James Gunn. They're doing such a great job of her being 2 steps ahead, making sure she knows every possibility and planning for it. It really is good. And getting Annie to beat her down. She even said, they hinted at it early in the episode, this is what you're going to finish on. Because she knew that was what was going to put her over the edge and cause that. She knew it. And it has just been, an absolute joy to watch. I didn't mean that one.
I only got one drink left.
And everything has been great. It started out slow for me, and I was a little worried about this season, but I'm not worried anymore. They have done a great job of just ramping this up. And it's one of those things I hope, just like Doug, I hope this can continue for the rest of the season and in season 5. And for that, I'm going to give it an 8.5672241.
Oh, we were almost universal.
Choo-choo.
Heath had to round up.
It's what I do.
He's always got to have the highest score.
I don't always. I've been lower than you very rarely, but there has been times I've been the lowest score.
Yeah,
I think you were actually.
Morpheus.
I think both of you were lower than I was on our last boys breakdown.
I think you're right.
Go back and watch if you have any questions.
You know
All
what?
right.
You should. And then comment down below what our scores were from the last boys video, because I don't remember. I'm old.
And if you get it correctly,
You're old.
you may win a prize down the line.
It's
not
a
telling you
turd, but it's still a prize.
Not a turd. Well, you might think it's a turd, but not a turd. Totally not a turd. But we should definitely find someone to raid.
I agree.
Once again, for those of you on YouTube, we're also on Twitch, and we can send all of our viewers to someone else, and it's a nice little thing to do.
I see Christelle D is playing Sea of Thieves. That's the only one on my list here. So if you guys find someone else.
Oh, I found somebody the other day. Her name is Bubble. And she mostly was playing Fallout New Vegas. Tonight she's playing Elden Ring. But
I mean, who isn't playing Elden Ring anymore?
Well, the DLC dropped on Friday, and yeah. How do you spell it? How do you spell it?
Bubbell.
Bubbell?
ELL.
Like the Hubble.
Well, sounds good. We're going to raid Bubble. So those of you on Twitch, stick around. Those of you on YouTube, thanks so much for coming out tonight. We are going to be back this Thursday, but then we will not be back on Sunday because I will be for my daughter's 16th birthday up in Frankenmuth. And then we won't be here next Thursday because it's July 4th, or the Thursday after this one. So maybe a Wednesday
And I will
stream.
be in Virginia.
Are you going to be in Virginia? Well, we'll talk later. But we'll find some time to stream that week of July 4th, and we'll come at you live like we like to do. But thanks for coming. We're going to raid Bubble, like Hubble.
Buble.
Buble, yes, thank you. Thanks everyone for coming out. Don't forget to comment down below. We appreciate it. And if it's your first time watching us, please subscribe and like this video. It really helps the channel.
Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.